No dog sold or raised for illegal purposes. This is a historical and entertainment-based channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 8. Yeah. Yeah. Are Croata dogs good or man-biters? Are Luca Brasi dogs missing in action? What is the greatest killer cross of all time?
Let us analyze the evidence on this episode of Bulldog Court. Bulldog community, please rise. This is your host, Get a Hold Generals, because we got to get a hold of the game.
Court is now in session.
Oh, man. What's going on, you underdid? This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm so happy to be with you tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the dog talk streets, but you're here with me. Salute to you. And, first of all, I want to give a special shout out to Bulldogging with Bo, Dogman TV, for having me come on, Saturday night, fight night edition of Bulldogging with Bo, showcasing, a portion of Bulldog Court. Leave and go to Bulldog Court and come back, to enjoy the commentary about the fight or the couple of fights and some of the topics that I had, the cases that I had on Bulldog Court episode 7. Shameless plug. Y'all go check that out after this one if you missed. So the first thing we're going to do is, let me talk about this. I normally don't do this, but man, this has been an interesting week, or last week and a couple of days in the Bulldog talk streets. A lot of controversies going on, a lot of supposed slander, a lot of things, cases caught, people, up under pressure. But understand that, sometimes real consequences and real things happen. But we have to be careful with that because we don't know everything. That's the thing about this game. Even in the dogs, you don't know everything. To sit around and think that you know every single detail of something and you weren't actually there, I think that's kind of bogus on the way I think. But nevertheless, we won't stress. We're going to get into these cases. And the first case is, are Croata dogs good or man biters? Yeah. I've been leaning out the window taking pictures of Croata for a while now. Yeah, I've been leaning out the window. Yeah, I'm one of them. I might not be charged on white, but I might be, you know what I'm saying? Get a hold black, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm looking to see is what I'm thinking. Or is it not so? Somebody tell me different. That's all I'm saying. Now, these animals, this Croata, Grand Champion Croata, much like the ship dog, come from overseas or import, have a tremendous record, have a tremendous list of animals that he have produced over there. And some have even come to the Americas, whichever side of the America you choose to pick. Spin around and put your finger down on the map. And I've had success. We talk about, we've heard stories about the Red Crow, a son of Croata, who defeated, another legendary bulldog, Yellow Lab, aka Ghost, But even in that showing, it was rumored that Crow, in the middle of, war, lost interest and walked away, to a lot of seasoned dog, man. That is, I don't care what he did after that. That is a very, very bad sign. And probably, I don't know if they even took him any further after this. Because, I mean, if you see that, then that kind of show you, you know, some in the water ain't quite clean nor focused as much as you once thought. But I digress. When we're looking at Croata after these first couple of waves, that first couple of crops that come out, you know. And I don't want to be Jimmy the Cricket, but my legs, you know, they rubbing together like a cricket. You know, I don't want to be Jimmy, but I'm just saying, Jimmy, he might have came out, you know. And then I'm seeing these numerous reports that coming across my desk about the more Croata you put into them. If you go double and triple, oh my, you finna get less of a game dog and more of a guard dog. I say you finna get less of a game dog, but more of a guard dog. If you got the trap popping, yeah, put him in front of it. He ain't letting nobody get back. It's from what I heard. This is what I'm hearing.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
As my OG would say, I'm cutting it with a barred axe. That means, you know, the information was passed down to me. You know, I have seen a couple of Croata dogs and they were very intense, aggressive. But toward people also, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, toward animals, other dogs, but toward people too. And I kind of find that alarming just from me just standing there looking from an observational standpoint. I'm like, you kind of got your focus in the wrong place, if you ask me. Maybe it's not. I mean, maybe they could be shits and dogs, you know, run and grab the arm and everything, grab the leg and all that, you know, protection work. But this a bulldogging show right here. You know, this bulldog court. And we're talking about real bulldogs, you know. We're talking about in the purest form of the word of the bulldog. That we, who in the American Pit Bull Terrier world or the game dog world, understand what a bulldog is. Some of this offspring is suspect to say the least, you know, and I'm just here and I just went right into it without telling you first. I am not the judge nor jury, for it is up to you, the bulldog community, to decide which way the tide may roll. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm looking at these animals. I'm looking at a few, you know, dogs that came off of some dogs, and you know, you see success here and there. But at the same time, at the same rate I'm seeing that, I'm also seeing what I just told you about as far as the man aggression, which is a very undesirable characteristic to have with the American Pit Bull Terrier, contrary to what many social media correspondents might tell you, that nobody who really got a game bred dog, nobody who was ever even interested in that square whatsoever, or any circle or square, wherever is ever been interested in having or wanted a man-biting dog. That it's a turnoff, that is registered in our minds and many of our minds as a cull. I didn't say cur, I didn't say kill, but I said cull, and it may end up getting put down by the local, you know, humane society if you want to take them up there to be put down, because that is a undesirable trait. I would not sell that dog to anybody that's man aggressive. I would not keep that dog that's man aggressive, and I most certainly would not have a dog like that around my children. You understand? We're talking about safety first. We're talking about being mature. If you're going to sell these animals, that you put these animals in the right people's hand, but you also put the right dog in these right people's hands. And if you got a dog that's extremely people aggressive, or a line of dogs that's known for this, you're going to have to monitor heavily. A lot of these may never get sold because you might know how to handle these animals, but you can't entrust that to everyone. They may not have any experience in that. And I would much rather not make $1 versus make $1 and now they coming back to me saying that the dog that you sold bit this person's arm off and they hollering like a panther, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the whole line is completely, you know, trash. But what I am saying is, and you know, I'm not saying that I ain't worth it. But what I am saying is is that you're going to have to monitor this stuff heavily. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff is looking like it was sweet at one time. Like I say, I always have to be watching the overseas thing and the import thing, and I think you should too in the Bulldog community, because everything in the water ain't clean with some of this stuff that come from overseas, and they saying it's so good. And by the way, I had a conversation a while back, maybe a few years ago, to a person who is frequent overseas. He goes there frequently. He may even have a yard there. And he said when those guys over there talk about Croata, he is middle of the road. He barely gets by. He mediocre to them. So if that dog is mediocre to those dog men overseas, then what should he be to us? Is my question. On top of the initial case question. If the guys over there, if the seasoned dog men in Europe say that, yeah, man, he's alright, his offspring alright, we don't even really look at him as much or too much for nothing for us to worry about. A Croata dog, middle of the road, barely gets by. Yeah, he made grand champion, but you know.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
If they saying that, now that could be out of jealousy. You know, we're going to weigh both sides. It could be out of jealousy that they don't have a Croata. They don't have one, but some of these guys that he was mentioning, they have several different grand champions and champions themselves. So they would have really not much of a reason to badmouth a dog and they don't run it, or badmouth a dog to make their dogs look better, because they already got good dogs. They already got dogs that people desire over there. So, and you have a situation where, you know, they may have a dog good too, but they may not have one of those Croata type dogs. You know, you have to weigh both sides of that story. But I'm just taking his word for it because he was over there saying that these dogs, to them, are nothing that they desire. And so, and I find that funny, because it come up with all that fanfare and all these stories behind it. And what do many people in the Bulldog community do? We jump on the bandwagon. It got some mayday dangling off of it.
No.
Oh man, it got some mayday hanging off of it. Oh man, I blowed my load. Oh wow, woo! And they got some stuff from over there mixed with the mayday. Oh man, I'm already mayday insane. Bro, I'm mayday crazy. So I'm really gonna jump on it now. Perfect recipe to sell you a dream, in my opinion. But I am not the judge nor jury. I am not the judge nor jury. It's up to you. Do you believe that Croata dogs are good dogs? I'm not just talking about Croata himself. I'm talking about this stuff that's coming down off of it. Some years have passed now. So many years have passed now. So time should be shaping itself to tell you a story. Now, what story is that telling you by your research, Bulldog community? What story is that telling you? Is that telling you a great story that's making this story sound far from the truth? Or is it accurate? Is the case I'm presenting worth presenting? Is it an accurate case? So the case of, are Croata dogs good or man biters? This case is now dismissed. We'll get back to the show after these important messages.
Add these reading materials to your historical literature collection of the American Pit Bull Terrier. The Big Red Handbook, Family Bred and Raised, Dogs, Dogmen, and Bloodlines, and the Schoolboy Keep. Contact Richard Schoolboy Garcia on Messenger and purchase your part of history today.
And for our second case, are Luca Brasi dogs missing in action? Let us look into this. When we look at Luca Brasi, his pedigree, we're looking at the background, the backdrop of who he is. We're looking at his pedigree is stocked with many dogs of folklore and of acclaim, and they have the very glamorous track records and proven records, and rightfully so. Their fanfare does not come without, sufficient proof that they are what we thought they were. They were what we thought they were.
They are what we thought
and
they
so
were.
when we look at this pedigree, it's almost a can't miss pedigree. So much Barracuda and Mayday that you can't even think straight. I talked about it on the last case that, some people out here, and we go back to a previous case about the marketing and advertisement of the Mayday dogs, or any of those particular Hispanic brothers that had, whether it be the Stone City stuff, or whether it's Chico and what they had, Havana Boys or whatever. They did an outstanding job of marketing and advertising those dogs, but also getting those dogs in the right people's hands to continue that legacy and to continue the winning ways that they were accustomed to when they had those dogs. Now, we know Southern Kennels did not campaign many of his own dogs, but he surely put a lot of them on the ground to be campaigned. So we know all this history. One thing that it did, though, it etched, you pretty much wrote in cursive Mayday in your brain as far as the Bulldog world. And so a lot of times when we look at dogs like Luca Brasi, I think a lot of people think that just because it's a Mayday dog that it's gonna sell. Just because it's Barracuda through and through, that they are somehow gonna get the golden goose, or there is a conveyor belt of golden gooses that come down the line to create these line of special animals. But when we talk about a line, it doesn't usually work like that. It take a lot of trial and error. It take a lot of hitting and missing. It take a lot of going through some stuff and going through a lot of them sometimes to get the right one. Sometimes it take, you made 2 or 3, that may be average to mediocre. Yes, they bred to perfection, but they are not the ones. I repeat, they are not the ones. You can trick yourself all you want to in trying to believe that, well, if I keep breeding, man, he's bred to perfection. The pedigree is beautiful. Look at it, man. And you flicking them pedigrees to different people like Pokemon cards, thinking that that's gonna some kind of way build your rep up or something like that in the game, and it's just not so.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
I'm so sorry to tell you, it's just not so. Could this be the case with Luca Brasi? Like, we have heard nothing, Jimmy D. I'm just gonna be honest, Jimmy D. Now, his brother Django may be a horse of another color, but we're talking about Luca Brasi today. Shout out to the gentleman. Now, we're talking about Luca Brasi, and I just can't hear nothing but Jimmy D. I'm talking about no dust, not even a cornflake of dust flaked up in there, kicked up in the air. Beautiful animal. Aww. Look just like the prototypical Mayday Barracuda type dog, and probably without all the defects, that the Barracuda dogs sometimes throw. No shade, just facts. But I'm just saying that we haven't heard anything. And now, if somebody could put in the comment section where they have heard some things, some rumblings, rumors, whatever the case may be, I would like to know, because it's been some time, just as maybe not as long as the Croata dogs, but it's been some time, and we haven't heard any type of, I'm aware of people in the woods, a lot of places, I'm aware of a lot of people in the woods in a lot of places, and I heard nothing but the birds chirping and the cricket of Luca Brasi dogs being on any type of trail whatsoever, except for on trail mix or gravy train, whatever they own, eating up all the dog food. Every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, eating up all the food, but no production to speak of. So I'm just coming before the Bulldog community asking you, has Luca Brasi been missing in action? No action to speak of whatsoever. None.
He needs some milk.
Some people say this stuff may be down in South America. Let me be more specific for the directionally challenged or the directionally sensitive people of the world. You know, there's some of this stuff may be in South America, but yet and still, those things kind of reach different places once they, especially if they stomping hard. You know, you'll hear about it. But Jiminy, nothing but Jiminy crickets. Like I said, Django, another different. That's another thing. Horse of another color. And like I'm saying, sometimes the one you think is the one, and you advertise them as the one, sometimes time will show you and tell you a story that shows they are not the one. The one with less fanfare, he has become the one. And it's an unfortunate thing because that means that there's a lot of people, especially if you're selling a lot of dollars, it really wouldn't mean much if you kept all of them for yourself and you found out what you need to find out from on the inside. But if you're selling a lot of dollars, and then now a lot of people have bought into this stuff only to find out, you know, they finna be outside with Jiminy, butt bookie naked without nothing to show for nothing. Then, you know, but that's a part of the game. That go with it, you know. That go with it. And I've said this on my show time and time again. I'm always cautious of any type of fanfare. A whole bunch of fanfare behind a dog. I'm very cautious with that. And don't give me no bunch of hellacious, bogus claims behind it. You know. No. You beat this one and that one, and then you went around the world and came back again, and you beat one going in reverse and all that. You ran and scratched so hard you knocked the dude and what's called out the corner, and your dog in the hell out the corner. You know what I'm saying? You jumped in and out, turned cartwheels on side the wall. Yeah, all right. I'm aware. Means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. Just a story. But I'm presenting this to the Bulldog community for you to decide. Is Luca Brasi missing in action? And this case is now dismissed. And now we're going to revisit a segment of the show called Did You Know? Did you know? Did you know that there was once a 17-time winner called Meters Champion Melonhead? He would go on to lose his grand championship title at number 12, but win 5 more. But even this Mayfield N-word dog got his N-word wake-up call. Still a great dog. And for my third and final case, what is the greatest killer cross of all time? Yeah, let's get into it. What is the greatest killer cross? You know, we can use 2-way or 3-way, but I'm looking for specific dogs, specific families of dogs. The old Eli Carver, Dabo Kobe is thrown out of court. I repeat, the Eli Carver or the Dabo Kobe is thrown out of court. You cannot bring this in here.
Hey, bro, come on now.
I want to hear Jeep Rascal. I want to hear, when you say Carver, we understand that could mean several different lines of dog. Boomerang, Snooty, Stompanato, you know, certain forms of Eli. It's also Carver, you know. We talk about Black Shine. We know Rascal can be considered, Satchel Bloody Sunday are considered Carver dogs, even though Bloody Sunday supposed to be off, I think, our Bullet Son, right? So we need specifics. I'm gonna put up Eli Boomerang. You know, is one I would consider. Eli Snooty. A lot of ones that get your, take you on to that great Bulldog meadow where you can run free forever. Yeah, they'll take you there. Some people might say, it's Satch and Bloody Sunday as a whole could be considered a killer cross. A lot of heavy mouth dogs came out of that. Paladin, Stompanato, Tyrone. And shout out to Bulldog with Bo for the great interview they did with Bakary, who owned Tyrone. If you look at how he's bred, he's a Stompanato or Paladin Stompanato bred dog, and you could just say, well, he's a carver dog. No, we're throwing that out of court. Name specifics. Please put all of your findings, what you think about as a killer cross that throw killers consistently. We all know what we mean by that. It doesn't necessarily mean dog on dog. It could be dog on hog. It could be, dog on rodent. If you've seen them kill consistently, many different ones that came out of it. I would like to, put a comment in the chat. I would like to see your findings of your research. I think about Grand Champion Angus. The Eli, Ed Crenshaw, Stu Fowler stuff. Comes to mind. Very, very dangerous animal. Very, very intense. Very, if you know your history, But what do you think? What is the greatest killer cross of all time? In this case, is now dismissed. Yeah. And now it's time for my closing monologue. Like I always say, make your next move your best move. But move strategic like a chess move. A lot of drama going on out here in these YouTube streets, out in these dog talk streets. You know what I'm saying? Stay on your grind, stay on your business, and stay out the way. This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm out.